Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead Season 10 and the extra 6 episodes that we got coming up in 2021. And we got some really interesting news today about one of the episodes, or it could be a number of episodes. I don't know how they're going to do this, but we'll discuss that throughout the video. But it has to do with Negan, and it's really cool. So, yeah, before I do get into it, a general spoiler warning in case you aren't caught up with this show. Also, if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with all that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so the news that sparked all this was them casting Negan's wife, Lucille. She has a pretty big part in his life. Obviously, it's his wife, but in the Here's Negan story, which is like a, I guess you can call it like a spin-off comic series. It's pretty popular, even among people who probably haven't even read it, but it's just like Negan's backstory, and it's something that we've been discussing for a long time about possibly coming to the show, and it looks like we are going to get some sort of rendition of that. Now, I think they could possibly fit Here's Negan into one episode if they want to, but they could also do multiple episodes if they want to extend it and do a little bit more. So it could work either way, but it's only 6 extra episodes we're getting. And remember, we also have Maggie and Carol and Daryl, who are all confirmed to have episodes. We also have Negan and Maggie, who are going to meet. So I don't know if that's going to be their own episode. But we also don't know if this is going to be its entire own episode. I kind of hope it does. I hope that'll be pretty cool, but it could just be flashbacks within the episode. And the interesting thing is that the actress that is going to be playing Lucille is actually Jeffrey Dean Morgan's real life wife, Hillary Burton. So that's pretty cool. Here is what kind of confirmed it on Twitter. Brandon Davis from comicbook.com said The Walking Dead has cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan's real life wife, Hillary Burton, as Negan's wife, Lucille, in a guest star role for season 10's additional episodes. And then Hillary Burton confirmed it by saying, been pretty hard to keep this a secret, but I love working with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I love watching him become Negan and take on that swagger, and I love the Walking Dead family. They've been a part of our family for ages, and I'm so grateful for their kindness. Here is Lucille. So I actually think it's really cool that his real life wife is going to be playing Lucille. But I think it's awesome that we're actually going to finally be getting Lucille in The Walking Dead. I mean, I kind of can't believe it because it's been something that we've been talking about for a long time. But Negan's been on the show for a long time, and then they pretty much finished the Negan storyline, and they went on to the Whisperers. So we were like, is it even time to do this? Like, would it feel weird if they just throw in a random Negan backstory episode? So it kind of always felt like, you know, it was never going to happen, at least for me, especially since they left, or especially since they finished the Savior story. And then there was talk about possibly doing like a mini series or a movie or something like that. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan was pretty up for it. You know, he said that he wants to see like Here's Negan come to the screen. So you know, we knew that he would be down for it, but it just depended like when would be a good time to do it. Because let's be honest, if they threw in like a random Negan episode in the middle of the Savior arc, would have felt off. And for a long time, I thought that if they were gonna do it, it was probably gonna be like, I was thinking like maybe a mini series or a web series like they did for the Red Machete. I thought that would have been cool, but because the Walking Dead schedule got moved around and now they have these extra 6 episodes, it totally makes sense to do it here, and that's what it looks like we're going to be getting. So I want to talk a little bit about Here's Negan and the episode in general and how it could work and in what ways it's going to come on screen. But I don't want to spoil anything, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to be talking Here's Negan spoilers, especially since now it's coming on to the TV show. So I think Here's Negan is really awesome, and I think it's going to be a really good episode. The comic book itself is really cool because we get to see one of the most interesting characters on the show, one of the most interesting villains on the show. I mean, he's not a villain anymore, but we get to see his backstory. And I'm always a fan of backstories, I think, for The Walking Dead, because it is the characters that drive this show. Because we know what's happening in the universe. There's zombies, they have to survive. So it's really the characters that are driving the show. And even for The World Beyond, if you guys have been watching my reviews for that, I've been saying like I'm not that happy with the plot, you know, what's happening, and it's moving pretty slowly, but I'm liking the flashbacks. I don't know, I think there's something about seeing the world before the zombie apocalypse, or like close to that moment, which is just super interesting to me, and seeing people's initial reactions to it, because that's something that we never really saw. We saw a glimpse of it in season 2, you know, in season 1 with Shane and Rick and stuff like that, but for the most part, we don't really see that kind of stuff. So I think it's really interesting. And that's exactly what Here's Negan is. We learn a lot about Negan as a person, and we get to see him moments before the zombie apocalypse started. But not only that, we get to actually see him become Negan, which is like, for me, one of the most exciting things if they bring that to the screen. So that's the next thing I want to talk about, is how are they going to portray this on screen, because there's no confirmation about like Here's Negan. They're not saying like, you know, we're gonna adapt Here's Negan. They just casted Negan's wife Lucille, so it could just be a flashback of Lucille. But I think it would be really awesome if they do more flashbacks. I mean, obviously they're gonna do more flashbacks, but I just hope they do like an entire flashback episode. I wouldn't mind that personally for Negan. But again, Here's Negan is a pretty long comic book, and I feel like they're not going to adapt the entire thing, which is okay. You don't have to do that. But I think they could adapt a lot of it if they want to do like one full episode that's maybe a little bit longer than the usual episode, or maybe they want to do 2 episodes, or maybe they want to do flashbacks throughout the show and Negan. Because remember, we have only 6 episodes. We're getting a Daryl and Carol episode, I'm pretty sure. We're going to get a Maggie episode. And I think we're also going to get a Eugene and Ezekiel episode with the Commonwealth. Because I'm pretty sure Angela King said we're going to be catching up with our group on the road. So I'm believing that's them. So that's already 3 episodes. We're probably going to get like a Maggie flashback episode. So that's 4. And then a Maggie present day. So that's 5. But the Maggie present day could be integrated with the Negan stuff, because they did say that Negan and Maggie are going to meet in this episode. Or not in this episode, I mean in these 6 episodes. So that's something to look forward to. But another really cool thing about Here's Negan, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but we get to see Dwight. So that's what I mean, like we actually get to see Negan becoming Negan, which I think would be so cool if they put that on screen. Seeing him like right before the zombie apocalypse, seeing him, you know, deal with his first walker, you know, up until meeting people. It's gonna be very similar to Rick, and how Rick was by himself, because Negan was also by himself, and he just met people along the way. But the interesting thing is that Negan took a different approach to it. He took a more of a, you know, he was more demanding and more of a villain, I guess, or more controlling than Rick was. So that's something that people have also been discussing for a long time. I remember back when it was All Out War and, you know, Negan versus Rick, people were always talking about, like, what would happen if we were following Negan from the first days of the apocalypse? What would have happened, you know, then? Like, would we have liked Negan? And then if Negan met Rick, would we not like Rick? So there's always been discussions about that, which I always thought was really cool and fascinating. So I think they can do a lot with this Here's Negan stuff. So I'm pretty excited for it. So yeah, I'm not going to get into spoilers or anything like that, but Hillary Burton, she is going to be playing Lucille in the extra 6 episodes, which pretty much confirms that we're going to be getting some flashbacks. So just hopefully we get more flashbacks in a Negan backstory, which I think would be awesome to see. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about all this? Let me know, what do you think they're going to show in the flashbacks, or what do you hope they show in the flashbacks? For those who have read Here's Negan, let me know what part of the story you hope they adapt. But yeah, very excited for this. As far as this video goes though, I am going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. Again, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. For more Walking Dead videos, just be sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching everybody. Please stay safe, and I'll see you guys soon.